Hello everybody and welcome back to the virtual class of Network and Cybersecurity 15 EC 835. So far we have already covered 4 modules. So today we will be starting the 5th module, Enterprise Security using Zachman Framework, which is nothing but the continuation of cyber network security concepts. So these are the contents we'll be covering today. First we have the Zachman Framework for Enterprise Architecture, and next, primitive models versus composite models. Before moving towards Zachman framework for enterprise architecture, let us first understand what is the meaning of certain terminologies like enterprise and architecture, and then enterprise architecture as a whole. So, what is an enterprise? An enterprise is any organization like a company, government, department, or an agency. So, any organization is called as an enterprise. Next, what is an architecture? Architecture is nothing but the complex or carefully designed structure of something, like the structure of a building. So, this is called as an architecture. And finally, enterprise architecture is a way to understand how an organization works. So this was about certain definitions related to enterprise architecture and both combined together, that is enterprise architecture. Now, on what factors does this enterprise architecture depends? This enterprise architecture depends on the framework we are going to use. Now, as I already mentioned, the enterprise architecture depends on the framework that we are going to use. So if you see, there are many frameworks that we have out there, out of which we will be looking into the Zachman framework for enterprise architecture for our syllabus. So what is the Zachman framework? The Zachman framework was invented by John A. Zachman. So this is the name of the person who had invented it, and this is nothing but an intellectual tool for describing enterprises. So what is the Zachman framework? It is basically an intellectual tool for describing enterprises, where enterprise is nothing but an organization that we have already discussed, right? Okay. Next point. Enterprises are inherently complex. So, since the enterprises are very complex, we need a powerful framework to describe them. That is, a framework that divides and conquers complexity. Next one, the Zachman framework, which will be shown in figure 1, that is in the next slide, slices and dices complexity into rows and columns. Now, what do you mean by slices and dices? It means that this framework breaks the complexity into rows and columns. So, what it does, the Zachman framework basically breaks the complexity of the framework into rows and columns. So this figure 1 represents the Zachman framework for enterprise architecture. Now as you can see, this architecture is divided into rows and columns. It looks similar to that of a matrix, right? Now let us see what these rows and columns represent. The columns are the 6 basic questions you could ask about any subject. Now what are these questions? These questions are what, how, where, who, when, and why. So what these columns represent? The columns represent 6 basic questions. They are nothing but what, how, where, who, when, and why. Then what about the rows? Now the Zachman framework further slices and dices, that is breaks the complexity into rows, where rows represent a general overview of the human roles. So what these rows represent? They represent the general overview of human roles. The hierarchy of every complex enterprise has executives, business management, architects, engineers, technicians, and users. So what will any enterprise have? Any enterprise will have all these components such as executives, business management, architects, engineers, technicians, and users. Now each of these rows can ask the same 6 questions. Hence we have 6 cells per row. Alright? Okay. Now we have discussed about the rows and the columns. Now let us see what the intersection of each rows and column represent. So each row column intersection in the Zachman framework is a cell to be populated with models and specifications, which are representations of enterprise, and everyone has their own specifications. I repeat, each row column intersection in the Zachman framework is a cell. So if you have a row and a column, it is an intersection, right? So each intersection corresponds to a cell. Now what this cell is going to tell you? It is going to be populated with models and specifications which are representations of enterprise, and everyone has their own specification. Having understood the Zachman framework architecture, let us now try and understand the difference between primitive models and composite models. So what is a primitive model? A primitive model is the one that only includes entities from a single column. Now which column are we referring to here? We are referring to the Zachman framework architecture column. As we know that the framework is divided into rows and columns. So primitive model is the one that only includes entities from a single column. Likewise, what are composite models then? The composite models combine primitives from multiple columns. So, what is a primitive model? Primitive model includes entities from a single column, and composite models combine primitives from multiple columns. Let us now try and understand the primitive models and composite models with the help of this Zachman framework. So a primitive model is the one that only includes entities from a single column, as we already discussed. So if you observe this figure, that is figure 1, row 1 contains list of primitives from each column, and row 2 has hierarchies built from those lists. So what are we seeing here? We are basically observing the rows. Row 1 contains list of primitives, and row 2 has hierarchies built from those lists. Next, keeping the columns separate in our models has many advantages. So if you observe, all the columns are separate. I've already told you what each column means. So what are the advantages we are talking about? Number one, it makes the framework conceptually simple, and because the columns are independent, as I already mentioned, you can populate them in parallel, that is simultaneously. So this was advantage 1. The next advantage is primitive models are relatively stable and slow changing. So what are the advantages of primitive model? Firstly, it makes the framework simple, and secondly, these models, that is primitive models, are stable and slow. Let us have a look at an example of primitive model. So consider the information models in column 1 of figure 1. So observe this figure, and in that observe the information models in column 1. So our models can include a list of data entities that is present in row 1, a data hierarchy that is present in row 2, a conceptual schema row 3, a logical schema which is in row 4, a physical schema in row 5, and record instances that is in row 6. Now certainly row 6 changes constantly in the implementation, but the other cells would be relatively stable. However, the changes are not that often in many enterprises. So to repeat, if you consider the models in column 1, they have a list of data entities, data hierarchy, conceptual schema, logical schema, physical schema, and record instances that are present from row 1 to row 6. And what happens to row 6 is only the entities of row 6 can have changes. However, the changes are not very often, but they depend on the requirement in software engineering. So this was about primitive models. Now let us look into the composite models. Now composite models combine primitives from multiple columns, as we had already discussed. Now for example, now coming towards the example of composite models, an example of composite model could be a matrix that shows relationships between primitives such as processes versus data. So what is an example of a composite model? It is basically a matrix that shows relationships between primitives such as processes versus data. Now, with that matrix, you can answer the question like which processes use which data. So, composite models are necessary for assessing impacts between columns, such as what data is manipulated by which processes, and for describing certain implementations. So basically these composite models answer the question like which data is manipulated by which processes, and it also describes certain implementations. So this was about the primitive models and composite models. So in this video, we tried understanding the Zachman framework for architecture and also the differences between primitive and composite models. I'll end my video here. We will continue the subsequent parts in the next video. Thank you.